The next day we put in at Sidon, and Julius treated Paul kindly and gave him leave to go to his friends and be cared for. It is Saturday, the 13th day of May, 2023. Clive Walsh here, encouraging you and inviting you to join me as we take in today's devotional thought, and it's being read from the book Truth for Life by pastor and author Alistair Begg. Today's devotional thought is entitled The Gift of Godly Friends. That's the gift of godly friends. And the verses for today, Acts chapter 27, verses 2 and 3, which reads, Embarking in a ship which was about to sail to the ports along the coast of Asia, we put to sea, accompanied by Artechorus, a Macedonian from Thessalonica. The next day we put in at Sidon, and Julius treated Paul kindly and gave him leave to go to his friends and be cared for. That's Acts chapter 27, verses 2 and 3. The day had dawned, and Paul's great longing to go to Rome was nearing its realization. He was one of the number of prisoners whose destination was a city at the center of the known world. But at the outset of his journey, Luke provided us with details that appeared at first glance to be extraneous and irrelevant. He and Paul, he tells us, were accompanied by Archelaus, a Macedonian from Thessalonica. He was not a well-known Bible character. From the few places where he's mentioned, we know that he was a good man to have around at all times, but especially during difficult times. He first appeared in Acts chapter 19, verse 29, where he ends up in harm's way, when Paul and his companions were set upon by a mob. He is also mentioned at the end of Colossians, in Colossians chapter 4, verse 10, and of Philemon in Philemon 24. If these two epistles were written from Rome, and likely was, then Artechorus evidently remained with Paul throughout the entire journey to Rome and his subsequent imprisonment. The mention of Artechorus' presence with Paul reminds us that even the great apostle to the Gentiles was not beyond the need of friendship. Paul is such a significant figure that we may be tempted almost to deify him, assuming that he was above and beyond such worldly necessities. But in actual fact, he cherished friendship. When he wrote his second letter to Timothy at the end of his life, he finished the epistle by asking not only for scrolls and his cloak in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 13, but also for the quick arrival of Timothy in verse 9. The scrolls would stimulate his mind. His cloak would deal with the cold. But he needed Timothy because to Paul, friendship really mattered. Paul's need for friendship is revealed again when Luke tells us that upon reaching Sidon on the way to Rome, Paul was allowed by the centurion overseeing the prisoners to go to his friends and be cared for. Was it out of place for the mighty apostle to be cared for by others? Not at all. Paul embraced his weaknesses and dependency on others because he knew that Christ's power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. The sooner we discover how weak we really are, the sooner we learn the value of friendship. No matter how strong or gifted we may be, you are no Superman. If the mighty apostle needed companions in his life, then you do as well. Friendship is a wonderful gift that God has given so that you might be encouraged and supported as you journey through this life. Today, then consider the godly friends that the Lord has placed around you. Offer thanks for their love and support, and above all, pray for their endurance and encouragement in the faith, knowing that just as you need them to point you to Christ, so they need you. Our devotional thought for today, encouraging us to take advantage of, to enjoy, and to be those gifts that are called friends. It truly is a gift from the Lord to have godly friends. And may you be that godly friend today, in Jesus' name. And those of you reading through the scriptures, your assignment today, 1 Kings chapter 3, 4, and 5, and the Gospel of Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 34. Clive Walsh here. May the Lord richly bless you and give you a great day.